Good evening.
Oh yeah, good evening. It's time spent listening.
Welcome to Time Spent Listening.
With myself, John, and Danila, and our recurring guests, Chris and Andy.
Hello.
Greetings.
We're still playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I think we're gonna be playing Dungeons and Dragons for a while. Because what did we do last week? We walked. It was basically a long walk.
That's a fair way of describing it, yeah.
Something else happened.
I think there were a few other things, but for the most part, you guys introduced yourselves, got to meet the NPCs, walked, stood guard. Nothing terribly eventful happened except for the new catchphrase for the show, "Shut up, Crag," emerged.
Shut up, Crag.
Your first impression on them was not a positive one, with the roll of a 1 and then a 2 on D20s.
Yeah, you blew it.
Thanks, guest host.
So listen, thanks to Casey for covering for Danila.
Actually, that roll was all you at the end of your last session here.
Thanks, Danilo.
Oh, that's right. You blew it.
He got to start off with that.
Oh, come the dice. So, to catch up, let's see. We're basically a band of adventurers. We've got a job as sort of the guy who sits in the getaway car for a real adventuring party or something. Anyway, we're on our way to some kind of tomb or something that's going to get raided.
You can flatter yourselves and think of yourselves as the rear guard.
Right.
Yeah.
Which actually is a fair way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're the meat.
We always... I'm a backdoor man, you know?
If a band of orcs had taken all of the mules and all of the food and resources for the trip back while they were down in the dungeon, they'd be kind of unhappy.
Yeah.
And
that's what we're here for.
Screwed.
Yeah.
So.
And we're about to be attacked by harpies.
That's right. We're as we left the last episode, some harpies, which are combination. It's like a
it's a flying
half bird, half ugly woman.
So let me give you the description that I jotted down. I decided to alter their description slightly from the 3rd edition monster manual.
Okay.
Just because they really flew in the face, no pun intended, of classic mythological harpies. They made them basically humanoid monsters with wings, which really they shouldn't have 6 limbs, counting wings. They should only have 2. They should only have 4.
You're saying they shouldn't have arms?
They shouldn't have arms. They have wings.
Interesting.
It's true. You're right. It's true, actually. Every creature that has the wings, it's like that's your arms. Yeah. It should be like a bat.
Mythologically, the harpies are standout cases for actually only having 4 limbs. So I decided to stick to that, which means that they aren't going to be wielding clubs.
Good.
But it also means that I'm actually going to handle their movements a little bit more realistically, and in some ways they might be harder to fight.
Right. They still have claws. Bats still have claws. They grab things.
Looking at things, I still have no idea whether I've made these harder or easier to kill than normal harpies.
Okay.
Guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
So, you were saying that we'll be playing this for a long time. That is, assuming that
we don't die.
We don't have a TPK, which stands for Total Party Kill. Which, even GMs who don't actually try to get TPKs still remember and take a sort of a mixed pride in having gotten them.
Mixed.
Well, I mean, I take glee out loud, but, part of my job is to keep the story going. So when I get a TPK, it means I messed up.
You're fired.
If we all died, we just start right over with character creation.
Right.
Next week.
Afraid so.
Well, I actually have some fallback plot things for if you all die.
Some underworld adventure. Okay. So, let's
So the first thing that happens... Well, first let me give you the description of them, that they're flying in. You can see them clearing over a hill ridge. So you have...
Are we in a forest, in a valley?
So we're headed... Yeah, don't listen to the back. The backing track is the closest thing I have to an exterior shot. It's we're not in a forest. We're traveling across... We're not on the blasted plain yet, right?
No, you're not going to go to the blasted plain unless something goes terribly wrong.
Right.
But
We're in the ruined hills.
you're in the ruined hills.
It's interesting, Danilo. The west side of every ridge is, screwed up, and the east side's a little better. So it's like whatever we're traveling toward, the stuff that's to the east of us, the west side. No, the west side, the west of us is, it's like
Dark.
like Fallout or something,
Right.
like nuclear. You know what I'm saying?
Death lives in the west.
That's right. But that's the direction we're
But
heading
we're on
in.
top of the ridge. We're kind of exposed now. There's little
Right.
hills,
Right.
little trees, but not
Are
scrubby.
we on top of a ridge?
No, you're. I said that you were in a trough, I
Right.
believe,
Trough, okay.
when you ended up having this. But so they're coming over a ridge top. As for the sound, just ignore the birds
Yeah,
because there
there's no
really aren't too
birds.
many birds.
No birds
There's
singing.
birds here and there, but
I'm going to level with you. This is what I've got. And you can... Oh, my God. You know what? I have the Banshee track.
Oh, this is perfect.
That's what we should use.
Yes.
Let me see which track that is.
go right ahead because the very next thing to resolve is that as soon as they get close enough to hear, you hear their song. So they have large black feathered wings like a raven, perhaps 12 to 14 feet in wingspan, huge talons like a bird of prey, and the torso and head of a twisted old crone.
So like my
So-
dwarven mother.
Describe their breasts.
I did expect that John would ask this question. They
Are we talking crone's breasts here?
No, I would assume if there was a photograph of them in one of these things, it would be a very attractive body and like just a nasty head.
That's what I'm picturing, too.
That is broadly the way they were depicted in the book.
Right.
Very broadly.
Really?
But fairly inhuman.
Those are okay.
However, for the purposes of a more PG-rated audience, I'm going to describe them using the reference of animals at the zoo.
Clamshell braziers? Is it going to be...
Kind of like Madonna.
It's like Little
No.
Mermaid?
1987.
Think, have you ever seen a really old female chimp?
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Just before the show, actually, we were looking at photos.
Changed my life.
Old
Well, of
female
course.
chimps.
So, yes, they are rather pendulous, and we'll leave it at that.
Great.
Although,
Believe it or not, that's what I wanted to hear.
they're coming in at like 35 miles an hour, so you don't have much time to
So
take
there's a
too
certain
many
amount of-
aesthetic observations.
Right.
And they are going to kill you if they can. So,
I don't know why you're talking about their breasts so much.
I have no
Anyway.
idea. Really, I have no idea.
Pendulous breasts flapping in the breeze.
No, wings. Wings flapping.
That's right.
Okay, so the next thing that happens is that as they come closer, and you do get to see the responses because Turla was able to outhear the incredibly talented elves and halfling thief that you're traveling with, and heard them coming.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It almost seems like you set up those rolls wrong or something. I don't know. Just kidding.
They were straight, honest rolls, but
Sure.
so Torim Bale, the fighter, readies his longsword and says to Crag, "If you know how to play a counter song, it might be a good idea to start practicing." Trobeck Lexling, the cleric, readies his staff. Newellen Carrid, your muleteer, draws his longbow and gets out his arrows.
Oh, yeah, they have their own mule guy.
The halflings, Russ Clyden, your guy, and Kletchy Bumblefoot basically hide, and Russ takes Moofy with him.
Okay.
There's not much of a place to hide. You're fairly exposed here, but, there is sort of a small outcropping of rock that might give you something to duck behind as they dove at you. Not if you were going to actually retaliate, mind you, but
Right.
if they're just hiding, that's the best plan. Tola Aram readies his rapier and seems to be getting ready to cast a spell with his offhand.
Okay.
And sorry, I made the name silly
Listen
enough
to
that
this
I
name,
couldn't.
by the way.
Oh, I was just going to give the first name, Lorlarian.
Lorlarian.
Lorlarian. Although if you want the last name,
Lolan the Lorlarian.
his name is Lorlarian Lithgalarielithin. I actually got it all out.
In case you couldn't tell, he's an elf.
Fancy that.
Who has the initiative here?
We'll get to that in just a moment. Lorlarian is obviously, since he's your sorcerer, he's getting ready to cast spells.
No, I'm my sorcerer.
No, you're a wizard.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I'm a wizard.
You're book learned. He's intuitive
Right.
and basically the same thing.
He's more of a yoga teacher, really.
He doesn't have as much flexibility in overall. He
Right.
gets fewer spells that he can know how to cast,
But he doesn't have to memorize them and all
but
that.
he can choose them as he needs them, which is really helpful.
I
Yeah,
guess.
so counter song is not something I know. I know I can do a prestidigitation.
you gotta do a little sleight of hand might
Actually,
confuse them.
I can do a daze.
Oh, that's cool.
That's the only useful one. Or mage hand. I can make a hand appear that kind of floats around.
Counter song is not a spell.
Oh, okay.
You can do a counter spell.
Counter
Just-
song.
Counter song, rather.
Yes, it's a bardic ability.
Oh, hey, I don't see that on here.
Yeah, that's because that jerk of a GM just forgot to put that on there.
Well, I learn something every day.
So, bardic music. Countersong. A bard with 3 or more ranks and perform, which you have,
Yes.
can use his music or poetics to counter magical effects that depend on sound.
Okay.
Because they're singing.
Yeah.
And they're still not close enough for you to really hear their song coherently enough for
Which
it to
is
take
good.
effect.
Right.
So, you may sing, play, or recite a counter song while taking other mundane actions but not magical actions. Each round of the counter song, you make a perform check. Any creature within 30 feet of the bard, including the bard himself, who is affected by a sonic or language-dependent magic attack, may use the bard's perform check result in place of his saving throw. If, after rolling the saving throw, the perform check result proves to be better. And you can keep up the counter song for up to 10 rounds.
Good to know. Give it a shot when you get a chance.
So,
Couldn't we all just start yelling and drown them out?
Well, I have some clumps of wool and some lumps of wax that are spell components, but whatever I think is more like pliable and whatever I think is going to work better, I'm going to try to stuff them in my ears. And if anybody wants to share,
I was
I don't know if
thinking
it'd take a
something
round.
similar, but
here's a word of warning. If you were going to cast any spells that have a verbal component,
I already. Well, oh, I see. It wouldn't work if I can't hear.
you have a percentage chance of something going wrong.
Okay. Well, I really needed to cast shield. You know what? You let me cast shield last time. But it's not one of my spells. Look at that. Alarm and magic missile are the only ones that are. That stinks. I wish I had shield.
Oh.
I mean, you let me because I didn't. I was just like, I'm gonna cast shield.
Right. Yeah, I trusted you not to cheat.
I didn't.
Foolish me.
I didn't mean to do that, and I wish I
Cheater.
hadn't. I wish I hadn't noticed it until after this battle.
We will make you wear the hubcap of shame.
I really wish I had shield instead of alarm right now.
Unfortunately, I do not have the hubcap of a VW minibus on a neck chain. The traditional, fictitious hubcap of shame.
you have magic missile, though. That's a plus.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Yeah.
That will be very helpful to you. So, when they approach close enough, that would be 300 feet.
It's pretty.
I was thinking of
pretty
plugging
far.
my ears, actually, if there's anything like
Well, anyway,
fuzz or anything, like, fluffy plants or anything like that.
Well, at the speed they're coming in, which is about 180 feet per round.
she's not casting anything. I don't know if I have to spend a round doing this, but I could give her lumps of wax from
Yeah.
my spell.
That
reagent.
works for
you
me.
can do that, and I'll give her a bonus for for the saving throw. It'll only
I
be. I'll give you like a +1 bonus
That's
because
fine.
you don't have very long to improvise these things.
Right.
You've got, before they come into song range, you've got probably, I'm going to say, 4 rounds, thanks
Oh.
to the warning that you gave.
Well, that's plenty of time to stuff
Well-
something in my ears.
4 rounds is only 24 seconds.
That's
Still.
almost half a minute, though.
She's a trained warrior.
Yeah.
She could stuff something.
How
in her.
organized are your spellcasting tools? You have different pouches?
They're
or just
super
one pouch?
organized.
There's just
Oh,
one
what
pouch
kind
with
of
everything? You
armor
got
do
to
you
dig
wear?
through like a purse?
Leather.
I have like
Studded
one of those,
leather.
Okay. No helmet. to speak of.
separated.
Do
No
you-
helmet.
Was it Festool sell those things that has all the little?
Yeah, like a
for
Monday,
sorting
Tuesday,
screws.
Wednesday, Friday.
That's what I have.
kind of like a little pill box.
Oh yeah, that's what I have. Is pillbox, like an old
An old plastic pill box.
Well, the standard in D&D is for them to have a pouch, a belt with many small pouches.
yeah.
The most
Batman.
desirable things are there's a few magic items that specifically sort through things and give you what you want when you reach in.
Mm.
And those are the best for that purpose, but
Sure.
you guys don't have those. So
Okay.
but you don't have that
Not
much
yet.
to sort through.
I wish I
So-
had shield.
So, how many of you are stuffing your ears with wax?
I am.
I don't actually know which. Does magic missile have a verbal component?
I believe that has both a verbal and a somatic component.
Then I guess I don't want to. I guess I'll not.
Wizards
block my
get
ears.
good saving
I'm gonna
throws
count on
anyway.
Danila's counter song.
Andy, could you do me a favor? During this fight, since I'm going to be running all the NPCs and the monsters, could you be the player's handbook monkey, so to speak, and just look up spells and such as needed?
Sure.
Because, unlike some GMs, I do have to admit, I don't have the whole player's handbook memorized. Not for this game, anyway.
Can you recommend someone that has it memorized?
Not that I've met in this town.
Okay.
And memorizing the player's handbook is not everything. It's the only thing. So, you guys do have time to stuff your ears if you so desire. So, when they come into range, each of you will have to make a will saving throw with a difficulty of 15, or become utterly captivated, meaning that you don't move, that you just sort of slowly walk towards the harpies, and you don't really.
Well, is Danila gonna
Worry
get to
about much of
take a
anything.
crack at this counter song thing, or?
When they reach it range, he will get to kick things off by making a bardic music check.
Right.
So does he have to make a saving
I also
throw?
have a +2 to saves versus poison spells and spell-like
Yes.
effects, so I'll have a little bit of a better chance.
So he can't do it prophylactically. He can't start doing his counter song now and protect us.
La,
from
la,
the
la,
same-
la, la.
Well, I'm guessing that you're going to kick off shortly before they're audible, just
Yeah.
to make sure that you have an
Yeah,
overlap.
I have a poem ready.
Oh, I just saw the title of the poem. Nice choice.
I have a couple.
And for, unlike the spells, you can use whatever piece of poetry your character thinks is appropriate to the situation.
Right.
Cool.
So you begin to imbue your poetic abilities with magic,
That's right.
and I'll let you go ahead and start the. Please recite the first 6 seconds of poetry, starting now.
This is the one song everyone would like to learn, the song that is irresistible. The song that forces men to leap overboard in squadrons.
Okay, there we're gonna. That is the first round. Yay!
Oh, I see. You get 6
Now-
seconds worth of poetry.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a long poem, so that's good. I'll have plenty.
It'll last the full 10 rounds or more. So go ahead and give me a performance check.
14.
What's your bonus?
Perform poetry +4.
So, you got an 18.
That's
So
pretty good.
anyone in the party can use the 18 in place of their saving throws.
Oh, good.
Which actually, I'm not going to bother making anyone make a save because the difficulty of the saving throw is 15.
15, right?
So we all pass. That's great.
Oh, I'll try my own saving throw. No, I'm just kidding.
You are going to want to keep performing,
Yes.
but I'm not going to bother making all of the rolls for that at this point.
Oh,
You're on a
Yeah.
roll. Just keep it up.
Sure.
I'm going to just let you basically stand there, vulnerable, singing. Or, well, sorry,
Poetry.
reciting poetry.
Poetrizing, I believe it's called.
Poetrizing.
Yeah.
So whenever we get to your round, I'll let you recite another however many lines that was.
I'll just do it stanza by stanza. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. So, basically, you successfully thwarted their magic song. Congratulations.
Hooray.
At least until you finish singing, or until you finish your poem. So that was the single most dangerous party-crippling part of the harpies.
Maybe people will stop telling you to shut up now.
That's right.
Well, at least for the next 10 rounds.
Yeah. Still.
They really don't want him to shut up right now. So. The harpies...
Oh,
What?
What? Huh? What?
Hi.
Yeah.
Who? Where?
Yeah.
How? So much for the captivating song.
yay.
And so the next round, anyone who was... So what were you doing, actually?
I
You
was
were just
stuffing
your
my ears with wax and readying my axe.
Okay. And John, what were you doing as they're flying in?
Oh. I
Magic
think
missile.
gravitating toward the rear of the party, and I was going to ready a magic missile, I guess.
Okay. And so you're just going to cast that as soon as they're in
As soon
range?
as they're in range. What are there? How many of them are there?
12.
Oh, boy.
Yikes.
I really wish I hadn't noticed that I didn't have shield. So I was walking to the studio, and I was like, as soon as I get there, I'm casting shield.
So are you going to basically hide with Moofy and Russ?
I'm not going to hide behind the rock, I don't think. But
You'd be off in the
I'll
distance.
I'll get behind the nearest fighter, I guess.
Well, there's also 8 mules standing around, like large dumb beasts of burden.
Right. If I was a harpy, I'd go for them first, you know? Yeah, like I said, I'll try to... We'll see how things shape up.
Actually, everyone, give me a... None of you have any wilderness lore, I don't believe.
Nope.
Not I.
Would that be under lore?
+0 for me.
So all of you just give me a straight intelligence check.
Right.
20.
16.
11.
So would you
Where's
care
my
to
intelligence modifier?
make another roll to see if you got a critical success?
Sure.
This is good. Roll high.
18.
Okay, so those of you who broke 15
Not me.
That's me.
have an understanding of fantasy aerodynamics. We were discussing earlier
Yeah.
before the show that, you know,
Is this about the breasts again?
no. That flying animals in fantasy settings don't really match up with real life aerodynamics.
Right.
There's no way that dragons should be able to fly with a set of wings that is reasonable. They're just too big, especially as they get bigger. So, you know, obviously, you know, because these things weigh about 4 times as much as a California condor, they are not actually going to get by with 12 to 14 foot wingspans. But
Right.
we're just imagining. This is the rules that your characters are used to dealing with. So, 2 of these might be able to take off with an unladen mule.
Okay.
But these things with all the pack harnesses on them would not be able to be carried away by harpies.
Sure.
And you don't think that more than 2 of them could squeeze onto a single harpy.
Okay.
So, really, the only things here that really have to worry about being carried away
Or the dwarves?
The halflings.
the halflings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dwarves are pretty heavy.
Maybe the dwarves,
Right.
but dwarves tend to be much denser than humans, so
Sure.
they're shorter, but they usually weigh about the same. So yeah, Russ and the halfling thief are really the ones that have to worry. Russ and Kletchy.
Okay. Let's kill him.
Gosh, what huge advantage of information should I give you, being that you got the 18 on the second roll?
Maybe
You got a critical success.
Maybe like this is on one of those, like Star Trek or something, where they're like, oh, I've discovered a weakness in their shields.
Right.
Their aerodynamics. Like
Modulate the frequency.
They always like tilt to the left when they're stop flying.
Actually, yeah. Also, because you're a bard, you have bardic knowledge and all that stuff. These things are coming in fast at like 35, like I was saying, 35 miles an hour at their full tilt bird of prey speed. So what you're probably looking at is a situation where if you can, set it something like a set spear versus charge situation would be best. For anyone that's not familiar with that, it's the way that you normally deal with charging mounted horsemen.
Normally,
yeah.
Typically, yeah.
It's been used for thousands of years, despite the fact the movie Braveheart suggested that William Wallace invented it on the fly. It was well known at the time.
the devil, you say?
Yeah. No, William Wallace, I say. Although, if you go with folk tales. Anyway, 15 foot tall. So, they are...
Are you saying Mel Gibson is not a genius? We have the consensus on this show that everything he touches is gold.
Yeah. It's true. Or rigs, as we call them.
Well, actually, he made a really smart decision on that scene because, the alternative was to show the real history and the real clever thing that William Wallace came up with, which is collapsing a giant bridge, which would have basically broken the budget of the whole movie, showing that battle the way it actually happened.
Right.
So,
I think we're on a bit of a sidebar here.
of course we are.
So,
It's Dungeons and Dragons. This is how it goes.
Right here on Time Spent Listening to WRFI.
So, let us get back on target and kill you guys. So,
hey now.
So when I'm doing my poetry, can I take out a sword as well? Do I have that ability?
He doesn't
the
have to
ability
just
to
sing
draw
for
it, but
10
you're not
minutes.
really going to...
Spear anybody?
So he can't do anything while he's singing his song?
I'm going to say no, not
He's
in this
performing.
situation.
Right, okay.
It is an active
But
performance.
he could play bass, right? I mean, a lot of people.
Well, if he could play bass.
I could be shredding.
Ronnie James Dio was a trumpet player.
So, as they
Hard to play
fly
the
in,
trumpet and recite.
Yeah. That's why he switched to the bass.
T-2 rounds, which is where you were at, they the sound reaches you guys, and his poetry basically thwarts the magic.
Noise.
And at T-1 round, everyone who had a readied ranged attack is able to use it.
Cool.
So you're going to be able to use your magic missile spell.
Magic missile.
Go ahead and roll your D4.
Oh, my D4.
yeah.
I don't
Magic-
have to roll it.
Magic missiles always hit.
Oh, they always hit. Well, I rolled an 16 anyway, so
Good for you.
I rolled a 1 for damage.
Wow. I believe it's D4 plus 1, if you want to look in the book.
D4 plus 1. Yeah, it's just 1d4 plus 1 with doesn't modify anything for level. It's always going to be 1d4 plus 1.
As you go up in level, you'll be able to cast more at the same time.
Oh, that's right.
Each casting will give you more
Gotcha.
magic missiles, which is actually pretty awesome. But so you randomly hit one of them. I'm assuming that
Okay.
doesn't really matter at this point which one of them it was.
Guess not. No.
And yeah, it's down
Did 2 damage.
2 points of damage. Good job.
So does it look unhappy?
Oh yeah, very unhappy.
Okay.
It's a start.
And
You just gotta
that's
keep
your,
it up.
That's your only magic missile, right? You can only cast it once. Is that right? Or no, you can keep casting it.
No, I can't.
No, that's his one per day.
That's my magic missile.
Well, he could have done. You could have done 2 magic missiles in one day, but that would have been all of your first level spells, right?
From now on, it's the short bow, which actually does more damage, but I have to roll to hit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Although, by the time you get your short
Rolled a
bow
16.
drawn, you're probably going to be better off with a close combat weapon.
Oh, I see.
It's sort of a judgment call. They're probably,
I'll get my pinata stick out.
or you might want to keep your short bow ready for after they attack you, before they can circle back around. So let's see. So it's time for the muleteer to shoot. He rolls a 2. At least it was not a 1. But
Yeah, 1 would be kind of friendly fire, right? He'd fire his bow and hit one of us.
probably,
Or
yeah.
himself.
Or his bow would break.
Yeah, something bad would happen. Tola Aram was, if I recall correctly, yes, firing off his own magic missile. And he is he's a first level wizard. Great. He has other classes, mind you. He's not just a first level wizard, but as a wizard, he's only first level. And he also rolls a 1. Although he has his really impressive, luminous rapier drawn. So,
I got dibs on that. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I get spell components
and Russ and Kletchy go hiding.
when he dies.
And Andy, would you like to look up Cone of Cold for me a moment?
Sure thing.
Cone of Cold.
Laura Larian is casting Cone of Cold.
Right. So
I
that's
have Ray of Frost. Wouldn't it be cool if we cross swords?
so that would be pretty fun. Cone of Cold is kind of like giving someone an ice cream, though. Right?
I think you're talking about a difference of about 10 times the range for the 2 weapons.
Whatever.
There's also the Snow Cone of Cold, which is more of a children's spell.
Cone of cold.
So what's here? Okay, so range is it's going to be about 50 feet. So he'll be able to hit them just before they come in, and the damage is going to be impressive. So he pulls out a little crystal cone out of his pocket. That's his material component that is destroyed in the casting of the spell.
Oh, okay.
And
So he has to follow the rules too, huh?
oh yeah. NPCs are stuck just as badly as you are. Okay, yeah, he's 10th level. So let's see how many of them he manages to catch. Oh, he only manages to catch 2 when they're coming in.
10th level, that's pretty
Yes,
advanced.
10th level
Yeah.
means he does 10d6 damage according to this.
Wow. He's going to
That's-
kill 2 of them.
That would be great.
That would be ideal for you guys. Let's see what the result is. $10, 30 points of damage.
Wow.
And two of them basically fall as frozen icicles out of the air, which actually leaves them sort of rolling on the ground towards you guys because they were coming in at 35 miles an hour.
Cool.
But that's 2 of them down. And the archer gets another shot.
Oh, yeah. What's his name again?
His name...
Oh, you don't have to look it up.
Well, I just have to flip over. He's Newellen Carid.
Oh,
Where,
right.
where was he
He's the
from?
muleteer.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Where was he from again? No, I'm just kidding.
He's from Barrowsgate. I could give you his family history.
Is that-
Well, by the way, we passed this big mound called Barrow Prime. And some of the guys in our party were like, it's pretty It's pretty picked over. It's like a huge tomb, but a lot of people have been there. But it looked cool.
And he just barely hits for... Is that 5? Yep, 5 points of damage.
Nice.
And...
It's nice that we're just not us fighting these people.
Sure,
'cause we
it's-
would definitely die.
Bunch of professionals.
I figured I'd give you a real combat with real monsters, but not just kill you all.
Right. And
So-
they're not gonna target me, you know.
3 hit points.
Well, I mean, I didn't hurt him that bad either. You know.
Okay,
The other
and
guy, the sorcerer.
Lorlarian is going to fire off a fireball.
I thought he already cast Cone of Cold.
Well, it's
There's
second
2 rounds
Oh,
before
right.
they reach you guys.
Gotcha.
And you're taking your bow out at this time, I'm guessing.
That takes me a whole round.
Aha.
It probably would. You were trying to pass out like little bits
give
of
me a
wax
break.
and stuff.
Yeah, sure. All right.
Well, don't worry.
Fireballs are long range.
3 of them get hit with the fireball. And that is going to do...
1d6 per caster level again.
And again, 30 points of damage.
Wow, for 3 of them.
Jeez.
Look at this guy.
This guy's pretty serious, isn't he?
Let's wait here.
And, you know,
Should I
one of
go
them was
sorcerer?
left with 1 hit point left, but I'm figuring coming in at 35 miles an hour, losing control in flight, when it hits the ground unavoidably, it's going to take a point of damage.
Sure.
So that's another 3 of them down. Congratulations. Now, who was readying their weapons, waiting for them to reach you?
I was.
Right. So, I'm going to let you make an attack roll against one of them that is coming in at you.
I go charging towards the nearest one, screaming. Brandishing my war axe. Wah! Rolled a 14 plus 3.
With an armor class of 13, I'm going to say you hit them.
All right. So I do 1d10 points of damage
Is that with an axe?
with an
It's a
axe.
big axe.
Dwarven war axe. I hit one for 4 points.
Do you have a bonus from strength?
Oh, yes. Plus 2. Wait.
Yeah. That
7
would be-
points of damage.
Okay. That's not enough to keep it from attacking you, but it may not make it back up in the air after hitting you.
I hope not.
Okay, it definitely hit you. Well, actually,
Ouch.
wait. I shouldn't say definitely. It has a +4 to hit you. So that's a 21. Yeah, it definitely hit you.
Yes.
Your armor class is not that good. So,
Oh, that's a lot of dice he's rolling.
No.
Just 2, but that's a lot. For
Yeah.
that's 7
It's more
hit
than one.
points to you.
Yikes.
Trying to find your hit
I'm
points.
trying to find my hit points.
right at the top.
Ah, yes. Oh, dear. That's 7 of 11.
You're conscious.
Ouch.
I specifically picked harpies because in a single attack, they couldn't kill any of you outright.
Except for John.
No, even John, they could
Sure.
knock him unconscious
Okay.
and bring him to death's door. But, you know, if someone got to him quick, some magic healing could have saved him.
Jeez.
Isn't that reassuring?
Well, I stagger to the ground.
Well, and
Fumble for a healing potion.
and so does the harpy.
Oh,
It,
good.
it sort of weakly lands a little bit away from you. So, I'm going to, just for the heck of it, let the harpies do their flyby attacks on everyone else before the other people retaliate. That's
Did
going to be a
did
hit.
you take off the 7 hit points off that one?
Of course I did. Would I forget to take off hit points? No, I would never forget to do something like that. There we go. You've got that one down to almost half of what it started at.
Oh, good.
Between you and someone's other attack. Okay, so... Torum. Gets hit. And... what's Trobek's armor class? Trobek's armor class is... too low. Trobek is also hit.
Ouch. He
Now,
says.
just to let the audience in on something interesting, one of the reasons why I like to make a combat-like game, especially on the radio, is because combat can take forever. We're running this as quick as we can, or as quick as I can, at any rate.
Yeah.
If there weren't so many NPCs, it would be a little quicker.
If there weren't so many NPCs, we would all be dead.
I wonder if we could write a little program. Just
It wouldn't quite be dead
rolls
yet, but
10 d20s, and
you would
Oh,
be
that
by
exists.
the end of combat.
then we'd be debating the nature of randomness, whether our random integer function is actually functioning correctly.
That is a common complaint.
Yeah.
Bizarrely. Well, not bizarrely. Okay, so Tola Aram manages to basically sort of shrug it off. His armor takes care of most of it. And Laurelarian... +4 against him. And Laurelarian manages to sidestep.
Good for him.
Yeah, very nice.
So, and two of the others are basically attacking a mule.
I knew it.
Not Moofy, I hope.
No, not Mufi, because he's been moved out of the way. But one of the other mules is being badly injured.
Okay.
Well, they have dinner tonight. Fresh meat.
They expected to be able to carry it away. They can't. It's just way too heavy. So, next round of... well, actually, no. They get to retaliate, which is good. So, Torum gets to strike with his keen longsword. Well, not that you guys should necessarily... Ooh. Okay, so
Torum hit hard.
he got a crit.
Yay.
So...
What does that mean? A critical hit means he rolled.
It means, well, in his case, because of his feats and stuff, any natural die roll of 15 to 20 was going
Don't
to
you
be a
have to
critical
confirm
hit.
it?
Oh, yes, I do have to confirm it.
Ugh.
And he rolled a 1 on the confirmation, so it is not a crit. Thank you, Andy, for
Yeah, nice going there.
stopping me from saving you. So he only deals 18 points of damage.
Aw. Only 18.
Was that against one that was already injured?
Yes, it was already injured for 2. Actually, by you. So...
Nice.
I'm gonna take a round just to high five him. Just, me and you, buddy.
So, Trobek Luxling.
Riveting.
Rolls a 16.
Some of the longest periods of silence we've ever had on this
Yes,
show.
I do apologize, but
The nature of combat,
it
unfortunately.
is the nature of combat.
Yeah.
Combat is so slow,
I guess so.
except in real life when it's so fast.
Yeah. 12 seconds of game time have passed.
No, about 18.
Oh, 18 seconds. My mistake.
So, yeah, he does. Ooh. 3 points of damage. Tola Aram.
So many.
uses his astonishing, pretty sword.
It's shiny.
His shiny, shiny sword. And...
Did you say it was a rapier?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it is. It is a rapier.
That's interesting.
Its critical hit range is, for him, 12 to 20.
Whoa.
He rolled an 18.
So it could be a critical. Roll to confirm.
It is.
It is a critical. So he deals
Lots of damage.
1d6 plus 4, and then doubled. So
Oof.
he rolled a 1, so it's 10.
Could have been better. Not terrible. Only as bad as possible.
Yes. As bad as possible, given that he was doing well. And Laurelarian... What's he do? Right. That'd be awesome. So
Don't worry, folks. We're going to edit this out later.
Yes, of course. So he's going to...
Before I broadcast.
Yes, because, of course, you can do that with live radio.
Yeah.
We're on a 8-second delay, so.
Yeah.
Okay, and the harpy... Well, actually, no, he has to do the touch combat. He does a critical hit on touching it, which doesn't really mean anything. But it rolled a 3 on its saving throw. He was just touching it while casting a spell.
Who was?
Laurelarian.
Oh, I got you.
He cast Polymorph Other,
Oh.
and it failed its saving throw really spectacularly. And so you see a toad drop to the ground
Toad. Come on.
at a speed of 35 miles an hour, which really does not help that toad.
It's not very imaginative.
Hello, Larian.
Hey, anything that doesn't fly.
Yeah.
The way I'm thinking, in a situation like this, he doesn't have time to think of something clever.
Sure.
Right,
sure.
right, whatever.
So.
Can I continue
So-
my poem?
We are, yes, continue your poem, and sorry, you do get 2 rounds of continuing your poem now.
That's good.
The song that forces men to leap overboard in squadrons even though they see the bleached skulls. The song nobody knows because anyone who has heard it is dead and the others can't remember.
It's pretty good.
Okay, so... Except for the 2 that are having trouble with the mule, and the one that Turla grounded, they're all looping off in the air to come back for another attack.
Okay.
So, for those of you that have ranged attacks, this might be a good time to use them.
I'm going to take a crack at it.
And for those of you that are in hand-to-hand range with a giant axe and a grounded target, it might also be a good time to do something.
Yeah. I'll wait on the healing potion, I guess.
So, I'll let you go first. Go ahead with Andy.
Okay.
Roll for Turla.
Ah!
You need a 13 or better after adjustments. And you have bonuses, so 13.
She did it.
I hit it.
She rolled a natural 13, and then she gets bonuses too, so she definitely hit it.
Very nice.
So I hit it for 10 points of damage.
It is angry and badly hurt.
Good.
And it looks like it's sort of hopping on one foot, trying to see if it has any chance to hop away and realizing that it doesn't, so it's going to attack you after your rounds
Oh,
are
of
done.
course it
But
is.
I'm going to shoot at the same one. With my
I think it's close to you.
short bow.
It's not
The
gonna
one
work.
that she's fighting?
Yeah, but I got my short bow out. Doesn't matter how close it is. I can still shoot it with an arrow.
The one that she's fighting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just don't roll badly or you'll hit Andy.
Yeah, if you miss, I don't remember exactly what the 3rd edition rules are
You
for
can do
firing
it.
into melee, but don't miss.
Okay.
Don't miss badly.
I rolled a 19.
That is not a miss.
Suck it.
That is not a miss.
Is
So
that a critical? Then you're
I don't know if it's a critical.
it says right next to the weapon. Under critical.
Well, no.
if it just says
that just says that's what the modifier is.
yeah, that's what happens if it's critical.
I
So
see.
then it's just a 20.
I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, I got a 19.
Good
So,
enough.
no critical, but I definitely hit it. And it's 1d6.
Yep.
Plus 1. Oh, that's an attack modifier. Never mind. So I did get a 20 with the attack modifier, right?
It has
Yeah.
to be a natural 20 to be a critical.
I got you. Big naturals. Oh yeah, 1d6. That's a 6.
Yes.
It slumps to the ground before it would have gotten a chance to strike at you.
It is no.
The
Yay!
wizard. The wizard.
Okay, so
Summer breeze style.
while they are circling around, a few more shots are fired off at them. Okay, so the mule tier manages to peg one for 6 points of damage.
How many are left?
And just for frame of reference, there are 2 that are on the mule, that are attacking a mule.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, you can pick them
there are
off while they're
3
distracted.
remaining
maybe.
ones that are circling around, and 2 that are attacking the mule.
Pretty good.
As long as
So-
they're not paying attention to me, I'm going to drink some healing potion, I think.
So Russ,
Does that take a whole round?
what was that?
To drink the healing potion, probably.
Pretty much.
It's only
yeah.
6 seconds, but a round is only 6 seconds.
Russ and Kletchy attack the ones that are on the mules. That are on the mule. Because, it's Russ's job. And Kletchy just didn't have any good ranged attacks.
Protect the mules.
So Russ misses badly, I believe. Yeah. Misses very badly.
What did he roll?
He rolled a 5,
Oh.
which got him a 7, which isn't enough to hit 13.
Remind me to beat him later.
Yeah, because he's just not a good fighter.
Yep.
Kletchy, on the other hand, rolls an 11, plus 9 is better than 13. So Kletchy manages to stab one for... That would be 8 points of damage.
Very nice.
Go ahead, Clutchy.
Well, he's a professional, just not a professional at
Sure.
this. And Laurel Arian shoots off a lightning bolt.
Oh. You have that written down already?
We got.
Well, it's
look
the
at-
same base
Look at
damage
that time.
for
We've
yours.
got 1 minute left. Let's do this lightning
Okay.
bolt.
10, 15, 27, more dice, a handful of dice, whatever. It is close enough. I'm not going to bother rolling for the rest. Yeah, with 2 more dice, he only needed to roll 2 more results, so yeah.
Yeah.
He-
Couldn't fail to kill it at that point.
He fried that bird. So, where we are leaving off, we are right near the end of the combat, which basically consumed the entire session this week. There are 2 more harpies circling around. Odds are they are not going to finish circling around for another attack. There are 2 harpies that are attacking a mule. And those are probably what you guys are going to be finishing off next week.
Yes.
And that's probably going to go pretty smoothly
And quicker.
and quicker. Because no one's circling around and everyone's basically turning to slaughter them. So, I believe that's where we're leaving off right now.
There were some exciting parts to that.
Yes, and there were some slow parts of that. I acknowledge.
It is the nature of Dungeons and Dragons combat.
Well, at least when you have that many NPCs that are all being handled by the GM.
Why do we let those guys play? I don't know.
To
Yeah.
save our lives.
I suppose so.
Don't worry, they won't be there next time.
Anyway, I think we have a special a guest DJ coming up next instead of Conference of the Birds. Stay tuned for that on WRFI Watkins Glen, Ithaca. You have anything to say, Daniil? You know what the weather is? tomorrow or anything like that?
It's just going to be slightly cold, chance of rain. There was a flash flood warning
Pretty
in,
chilly,
in
actually.
some parts of the area. For
Right.
those of you who may have flooded basements, get a sump pump.
It's going to be chilly tonight. It's like high in the 40s or something overnight.
I'm glad. It's been too hot to sleep.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, have a good night, folks, and we'll see you next week.